Watching you, watching me, watching me. Hello, my name is Ben Brown, or nordus-mocwyl on Urbit. I got another set of videos for you. This ended up falling out into a two-parter. Here at the top of 2025, my brain has mulled over what significance is Urbit going to play for me this year, and even giving a little bit of things like AI, it's like, should I keep on focusing on it? This video can be useful in maybe two ways. If you want to reaffirm you love Urbit and want to keep on loving it, this can be helpful. Or if you're like, dude, no way, Urbit doesn't serve a purpose, it's a solution to a problem that doesn't exist, this is my thought process of how I was able to reseed it as something I'll still focus on in 2025. The first part is defining the problem space. The second part is the particular solution, the Martian computing. This intro is going to be a little bit longer than usual because I want to appreciate all the people who gave to help fund the videos of last year, because it was just really awesome and blew me away. At the description of all of the videos put out recently, there's the fund link. If you click on that and you're a little bit patient, you'll be able to see the fund. This is where money has come in to get these videos to come out. I set this ridiculously high funding goal, 2,400, and out of that, big thing, this is great. This is really good. It's really worked out. These people were so great. I can't thank SickDev Pilnup enough. He's really like the driving force. Very encouraging, and it really kept me going as each of the months like ticked by. So it's like, thank you so much, SickDev. You've been awesome. Same like Sarlev Sarsen. He's why I'm getting paid here, basically. And has been incredibly encouraging. I would not have made all the videos for last year. The unknown, ETH, I really wish I knew who this was. Message, nordus-mocwyl. Ramtep, Tinmut, thank you so much. Handful Davned, I am so curious what you're working on. Sigmus Modfine, thank you so much. Finn Ned Palmer, thank you. Yep. Here we are at this point where I was able to make this extra in progress because this link is going to live on in the old videos. I'm gonna let it ride. People can contribute to it. Once it gets to a certain point, I can always request review, and I will give half to GiveDirectly. You guys are the awesomest. Thank you for letting me give to GiveDirectly. $530 I was able to send over to GiveDirectly. This is an honor. I've always wanted to up how much I send. It's just fun. It's just good. I just celebrate it. Enjoy the video. It got me excited about 2025 and keeping my eyes on Urbit this year. I will talk to you later. Bye. This is for the Urbit. Is Urbit still relevant? It's 2025, motherfucker. Good morning. How you doing? I've been doing some reflection. You look at the past year and the year ahead and you're like, what's the next step? So the concern goes like this, given the world in the next little bit. AI, wave some hands around. Everything with computers, fixed, done, solved. Easy. I've swung that pendulum a couple times where it's super exciting, like, oh my gosh, how intimidating and how awesome, can't wait for it to happen, to like, okay, we hit a plateau, let's go back. Is Urbit relevant still? Does it still matter? Let's get to it. I'm gonna draw a couple things to try to illustrate what Urbit is trying to solve. So let's just look at communication. How do we like to talk to each other? Imagine yourself, you want to talk to a buddy. The way that you would want to talk to them is to go face-to-face and chat with them, direct. If you can't do that, you may pass a note back and forth, but it's direct. How would you feel if there was a barrier between you and your buddy? And I was like, hey, I'll help you guys communicate. You talk to me, and then I'll talk to them, and vice versa. Do you like that idea? No, this kind of sucks. This is not natural. What the heck am I doing with that information? Nobody wants that. We'd much rather break this thing down and talk directly to each other and not use a third person, because it's like, you just don't know what the heck I'm doing. How about another scenario? Let's take something more analogous to like Signal. Messages. You can't talk to your friends, but you can leave them a message somewhere. So in the world of atoms, if you wanted to leave a message, you got yourself, you got your buddy, And you set up a whiteboard somewhere. Walk to the board, leave your message. You walk away, and then your buddies can go to the board, read what you had to say, respond to it, and they leave. Where are you going to put this board? Public park, airport, bank? Depends on what you're going to say. I guess there's probably already a subset of people that like this form of communication, you know, that get into the toilet stall, close the door. Oh, yeah, okay, let me continue this conversation. Not the most conducive for like a nice little intimate setting. Are you going to do that with your family, a significant other? In the current digital world, you would go to someone like Signal, and they will provide you a room. And it can be a public room, a little chat space for you to play this little game of showing up, writing your messages, having other people arrive, writing their messages, and taking off. We're used to that. We're pretty good at it. If you want it to be safer, me as a provider of this, you're coming up to my building. I'm allowing you to be there. If you want it to be more private and be like, okay, this is actually serious conversations, then I can set up a room with a locked door so that only the people who have the keys can get in. And so I can give you a key and you can give a copy of that key to whoever you want. Only people with the keys can get in. And dude without a key, he tries to get in and he can't get in. The big question would be, if I set it up and I created the lock, I own the building. What's to say I can't like backdoor entrance into there? Ooh, lost my pants. Well, it is possible that I can give you a scenario where you can set up your own keys and make it so where, just like everybody else, I can't get into your space. That'd be the gold standard now. That's what Signal's doing. That's what Telegram made available but didn't tell people about. And this is as good as it gets. Somebody else owns the property and you go to their space to have your intimate conversations. This is certainly an acceptable arrangement. What if you get rid of this guy, and the person who owns the space is you? What if it's your house? What if it's your space? What if you set up the message board in your own dang house? The house needs a couch. It just does. Comfy cozy. This is just the space you live. It's just standard. We'll get rid of the key. And then you give the people who can write on the thing the key and let them come in, all that stuff. This is direct. This is like the most natural way of communicating. Communication, the way that we want to do it. If we have a message to give somebody else, we just want to go person to person, peer to peer, direct. It's just weird. Weird to have a third person. You have to use my space to talk. It's just not natural. You can't relax and let your hair down and be you. Because if I own a space, there's money because I have a cost involved. And so I have to figure out how to make it worth my time to let you do that stuff. And then, not to mention that, but then like there's all these rules I gotta follow and you gotta follow. And it's like, if people start getting hurt in my space, like I gotta like step in and do something about it. And that raises the cost. And you gotta sign stuff to get into my space. When it comes to computers, should I do laptops or CRT monitors? This is not gonna look like a computer anymore to people. It doesn't look like a computer because it's not a good drawing. It looks like a box of cereal or a book. Now it's considered computers. These are sending messages all the time. They're communicating back and forth. Why wouldn't we want it to be a direct communication? Like, why wouldn't it be your phone to your boo's computer? This scenario would certainly be awesome. The problem is neither of these things are capable of delivering messages, of serving messages. They have to go through a third party, and they are the ones that convey and manage the communication, you know? We're back to this weird scenario. It's like, why is that? Why do I have to use them to talk to all my stuff? And this is kind of a head scratcher. When the internet was conceived, it seemed self-evident and obvious. All the parts of this network would just talk directly to each other. One of these computers sitting on the network of computers to another one, and they could send a message back. And that's what you would want. But it ended up falling apart. What ended up happening was just a select few will manage the sending. These computers can check things, but only this big guy can actually send stuff down. You want to check what other people are saying, you got to go ask, hey, what's there? And then pull it in and They ask, hey, what's there? And they pull it in. Guess what? Same issue. There's money costs and there's laws. They have to do certain things and they're going to have to require things of you. And it's just not as nice as going back to the original possibility. We're just on a network. Everybody is equally capable. And that means you can find a direct path between your person. So I'll give you a personal example. My sister had a video on her phone and she wanted to send it to me, but it was too big. She wants me to edit it. I haven't done it yet. I had the hardest time trying to think through the right solution for her to send me a big old file from her phone to my computer. And we tried several different things. She tried to email it to me. Like I knew that that wouldn't work. Google, the G-Man up here, they would need to put it up on Google Drive and then I could go get it. There's a couple of things I know how to do, but you got to get on the terminal. Okay, well, what's her skill level? Like, it's just messy. And not to mention, for it to be on the phone, it's stupid hard to get a phone file to your computer. This is partly why it really sucks to leave the Apple ecosystem because they figured out how to make it seamless for the average person. Ultimately, we settled on Resilio Sync, an app that I could install on my computer and she could install on her phone. It was a new development that they could actually have a phone app, so that was cool. This basically turned her phone into a server, like a computer that can actually send things. Same thing for my computer. So we were able to get rid of putting it into a third place and instead just beam it directly from the phone to the laptop. This definitely finally makes this work. It's just dumb that it's not inherently inside of these computers already. Why is it so complicated and hard to make this happen? Essentially, these apps are something we had to choose to put on these different devices. And then we finally created this thing, which is a peer-to-peer network. Digital communication. This is what we want. This would be the natural way of doing this whole computers talking to computers is on a peer-to-peer network. So now let's come back and reevaluate what we were here for, which is to think through the relevance of Urbit. Urbit is a peer-to-peer network, but I think it's worth saying we have other peer-to-peer networks. This is something that is going on. People are creating the protocols, the rules of how these networks work. Here's an example. One of the peer-to-peer networks, Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a peer-to-peer network, P2P. Here's the catch, though. The messaging, what you can communicate, the thing you can say back and forth is Bitcoin transactions. Those are the only things that get passed along the network. Parts of the network, often called nodes, they're all computers, but as far as the protocol is concerned, the only thing that gets communicated are when Bitcoins leave one place and arrive at another. That's the only thing that's communicated on that protocol. It's a peer-to-peer network. And yes, that is desirable, but it only does one thing. There's other peer-to-peer networks that also send messages, text messages, or they have some other protocol for doing web-based stuff where you can kind of do Twitter things and other kind of stuff. Urbit as a peer-to-peer network, each of these nodes, they are a completely general purpose machine. The messages, the communication that can be sent across this network is anything. Anything that you can compute, anything that you can do, it's a general purpose machine. The nodes of this network are computers that can literally do anything. Urbit's created that protocol that's the most useful possible peer-to-peer network. All the people who have computers, you want that network to be peer-to-peer, and when you message it, let it do anything. Let it do all the things. It's all possible. A general purpose machine would be in the category of a 3D printer or a lathe or a CNC machine. These things make tools. It's the machine that can make machines. It can even make itself. For the fantasy world, go up to Star Trek and you have the replicator. This is the thing that can make itself. Man, Star Trek. Someday. It's the machine that makes machines, the tool that makes tools. Instead of having a big shed with shovels, screwdrivers, and lawnmowers, if you get dropped on a desert island, do you want the shed full of tools that you can use today, or do you want the shed that has a thing that can make itself? That's the level of usefulness that Urbit is hooking up to the end of this peer-to-peer network. Urbit's the only thing that I know of, the only game in town that has momentum and has solved a lot of big problems in trying to accomplish this. And so, is Urbit still relevant in this case? It's like, yeah. At this point, I have to conclude that I would want that. You would want that. You want a peer-to-peer network. You also want the things that happen on the peer-to-peer network to have infinite possibility. In case I missed it for the first video, so I say bye. I'll see you in part 2. And that kind of brings me to Martian computing, or Martian computers. Urbit has just kind of talk about fund for a little bit. Whenever you do set up a fund, which I would encourage you to do if you have a project and you want to see how people value it before it's even really out and get seed money as well as like ongoing production money, however you want to structure it. You make it and you make a big goal, and then now people can pledge or send directly to you this money, crypto money. It's all based off of Ethereum. I set mine as the crypto dollar, USDC, on Ethereum, and some people were able to send me that. When you do set it up, you have the choice of making several milestones. These are really just kind of like accounting for the money. It's like a way of figuring out sequence of how money comes in. They are not themselves little buckets that like cap off how much you would make or anything. I had a misunderstanding about the milestones at first. But anything given at any time goes to the larger thing, and the milestones are giving moments to where you as the person making it could take money off of the table so that you can achieve what you're trying to achieve. Whenever I set up my milestones, I chose to do it in like a per month basis. It was kind of tied to time. That got a little dicey. I thought that each of the milestones would clamp down on what was possible, and I was like, I need to open up the first one. Like I did the August one, let me claim the funds, and then open up the September one, so that it added more stress than it needed to, because at any given time, anybody could come in and contribute, and it just goes to the thing. I made a mistake there. But the way that I structured it was each month, make 2 videos, and give half to GiveDirectly. I set up 4 months, August, September, October, November. Each round, you set it in progress. When I completed it, I'd hit review. TalkWex would need to approve it and be like, yes, you did. That is what people gave you money for. And I approved that, and the ability to claim this section of the funds is available. And that was really helpful. The milestones were great. I liked grabbing those. I loved giving it to GiveDirectly. That felt real good. Thank you. Once you claim the funds, it is complete. And then you move on to the next one, complete, same process. So I did that August to November. I just cleared out November. Here we are at this point where I was able to make this extra in progress, because this link is going to live on in the old videos. I'm gonna let it ride. People can contribute to it and put it on the extras. Once it gets to a certain point, I can always request review. Same deal, I will give half to GiveDirectly. Once that's complete, I'll need open up another fund, which I will need to consider. I haven't quite thought about that. I do have things that I would like to make and do. I imagine they would involve videos, making stuff on Urbit, and I'm looking at a guitar thing, a guitar course. Actually, look out for like maybe a waiting list for this guitar course. It's fun. It'll keep rolling. I gotta brag about this. I just want to brag about how much we collectively were able to send to GiveDirectly. I feel very strongly about GiveDirectly. Whenever I hear about rough times in the world, when I hear about economic downturn, I try to learn about solutions for those things, how to aid people in trouble. Handing money directly to the poorest in the world is the way for them to really solve their problems. And I think it's the only way of aiding people that keeps their dignity and gives them what they actually need. All the problems of being poor, even like scoring low on IQ tests, has everything to do with just not having enough money. It is a great program. They also do lots of studies to make sure what they do is effective and not harming people. More people need to know about it. When I feel like I need to do something. This is the only thing I keep on feeling and thinking about it being like the right thing to do. I found a trick. After a little bit of searching, I found out I could give them crypto directly. And so I would get USDC at the end of the month when I was able to claim the funds. I double checked this with them. I emailed them back and forth to make sure that this is accurate, that this is still being used. And I was able to send them. See the BR Benji? That's me. There we go. Those are all 3 of them. Like 4 months ago, I was able to send them $165. I was able to send nearly $200 the next time. And the final slot was $168. That was just 6 days ago. That was fantastic. What does that come out to? $530 I was able to send over to GiveDirectly. I've always wanted to up how much I send. It's small. We're just starting. Urbit is a small community. I'm proud of having my name given to them. It's good. It's good. I'd love to double that, but that's for a different time. All right, let's get this. Bye. Have fun, y'all. Bye.